Welcome to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. And kids have been back in school for almost a month now. And while there seems to be a lot of choices up on the north end of town, what about the south end community? I grew up in Fayetteville, Georgia, and a school popped into my mind, and I wanted to get them on so badly because they cater to almost 9 or 10 different counties surrounding Fayetteville. And that's the Joseph Sam School. Please welcome to the show, Amy Murray, the executive director over at Joseph Sam School. How are you today, Amy?
Doing great, Gina. Thank you. So grateful to be here.
How is the new year treating Joseph Sam's?
Great. It never ceases to amaze us that the students and staff come right back in, roll up their sleeves, and as if they were just gone for a couple of days and not 2.5 weeks.
Now, listen, I know, having grown up in Fayetteville, all about the Joseph Sam School, but for others who don't know, that maybe live on the south end of town, that are looking to make an adjustment in their kids' schooling, tell us about Joseph Sam School. How did it begin? What happened there?
Sure, absolutely. We have been in existence for 48 years, and 38 years, pardon me. We started just as most nonprofits do. There was a need. 3 young families had a need for early intervention services for their sons, all of whom had Down syndrome. 3 young families, as I mentioned, and they determined that the community had that need as well. There was a gap. And so we started as an early intervention preschool program serving 2 to 5 year olds. And as I mentioned, we have grown and expanded, and we are now serving birth through 22. And while that first class started with 6 students with Down syndrome, we now serve quite a range of disabilities and diagnoses, and have expanded our programs and services. We started out, as I mentioned, as the preschool program known as the early years. And as we expanded, and not only in our services, but the ages, we determined that the early years was not an appropriate name anymore. And we were renamed in honor, actually, of Joseph Sams. He was one of the founding family's sons who had passed away due to complications of chemo. And we now are proud to be the Joseph Sams School and serving, as I mentioned, birth through 22, and a wide range of services, which I hope to be able to share with you.
I was just going to mention that. What does your makeup consist of as far as the students and their diagnosis?
Sure, absolutely. We currently serve, as you mentioned, 9 to 10 counties of Georgia. There are no restrictions in enrollment. I guess you could say, as far as the families willing to travel, that is what we represent in our school. And we serve students who have 45 to 48% of our students, their primary diagnosis is autism. And then we also represent other chromosomal disorders, physical disabilities, cerebral palsy, seizure disorder. And we just hold the distinction of serving such a range, not only in age, as I mentioned, birth through 22, but also of the diagnoses and the needs. So it's quite a range.
So you still service early intervention with families?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. We have an infant program, and then we also, our preschool program serves 2 to 5 year olds. Yes.
Oh, how wonderful. Sitting here with me, Amy Murray, the executive director of the Joseph Sam School in Fayetteville, Georgia. When we get back, we're going to find out kind of what the students think about going to the Joseph Sam School. Stay with me.
I'm Lyra Gillenwater. Thanks for checking out this episode of Life with the Spectrum. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll always see the newest episodes when they come out.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Amy Murray, who's the executive director at Joseph Sam School down in Fayetteville, Georgia. Amy, what would you say the kids would say about coming to school? What's their favorite part of the day other than recess and lunch?
I would have to say their favorite part of the day is probably getting on the bus and going out into the community. We hear echoed through our halls the students asking for the bus the moment they come in the mornings, and then as they're going out into the community, they are again excited to be getting on the bus and joining their peers and their teachers and being involved in the community and getting out and about. That's a big piece.
So do you do that once a week where you're taking the kids, the students out to the community? And if so, what are they doing in the community?
Absolutely. A big piece of our programming and curriculum is community-based instruction. So essentially we're taking the classroom into the community. So we can teach those skills, the money skills, communication skills, activity of daily living in the classroom and simulate. But what we know with our students and their learning skills is that we need to teach those in the natural environment. And it's more meaningful, right? It's a lot more meaningful to be exchanging real money for the groceries or the yogurt or the restaurant item food than in the classroom. So we teach those skills out in the community, and we teach those skills throughout in all of the different environments where the families are participating, where the classrooms are participating, because what that equates to is our students are then more independent and more engaged as a community member. And it reaches far beyond just the 6 hours that they are at school. So,
can you give me some examples of places they go? Like, do they go to Publix and Kroger, or do they go to like the Goodwill, or where do they get that practical real life experience that they're going to definitely need when they go out in the workforce?
Sure, absolutely. So they go, yes, Kroger, Publix, Target, the post office, the restaurants, you name it. Where do we go? And that's really how we do an inventory, and we assess where do our students and their families visit, where do they go when they're a family, and then we provide those opportunities in a variety of environments. So there are no limits. We also provide the recreation and leisure activities. So they do special pops tennis. So we have a community garden. They do vocational based instruction out in the community with Close Us Travel or Midwest Food Bank, Old Navy, Chick-fil-A, Partners Pizza.
It was funny. One of your students that's very near and dear to my heart, she has mentioned several times that when she grows up, she wants to be the bagger and the checker at Publix. And I'm like, well, that job is as good as yours, girl. We're going to get you there. And it's good to know that the Joseph Sam School is helping that, because now more than ever, companies are hiring diverse workforces. And that includes our kiddos and family members with challenges, disabilities, and different diagnoses that run the gamut, really. So I'm so glad to hear that.
Well, and we're just fortunate to have a community that embraces us and supports these learning opportunities for our students.
Now, with every good, there's a bad. So tell me what the students would say is the worst thing about coming to school.
That is a great question. Maybe some of them would say dismissal or leaving. We've had several families tell us that during a long break, such as we just 2.5 weeks is a long time to be away from a routine. They have a calendar at their home to count down when they return to school. And maybe some of them, some of their chores at school. I think that just depends on the student.
Chores at home, chores at school, chores are nobody's friend.
That's right. Absolutely.
When we get back with Amy Murray, we're going to find all about the teachers that work at the Joseph Sam School. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Lear Gilmars. Thanks to our friends at...
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. Sitting with me today, Amy Murray, who's the executive director at the Joseph Sam School on the South End in Fayetteville, Georgia. Amy, I know some of your teachers, and they are just like remarkable human beings. Like they care, they get it, and you can tell that they want to do whatever they can to help that child be successful. Is that across the board? Would you find that in all of your teachers? Because I only know a few down there.
Yes, I would say that is the general theme throughout the school building with our therapists, our teachers, the determination, the commitment, the love, but really the commonality is the belief that our students deserve to experience opportunities that all school-age children, young adults, teenagers, whether it be prom or an overnight camping trip or the opportunity to be entrepreneurs and run our bake shop or our snack shack. Our teachers believe in those opportunities. They believe in our students reaching their full potential, and they roll their sleeves up and ensure that all of our students, regardless of their abilities or what some may see as their disability, and make it happen for sure.
How many kids go to the Joseph Sam School?
We serve annually around 70 students. Currently, we have a waiting list of about 15, which is pretty daunting and heartbreaking if you think of it in a way that when families call and we talk through the school and the services and the programs, and so many of them say, that's exactly what we're looking for. But, not being able to serve them right away is a challenge that we continue to face. Just, trying to work through staffing and getting the right people in place.
And that's a big thing, is to have the right teachers in place. How many teachers do you have there?
We have 40 staff members on our educational side. That includes teachers, therapists, and paraprofessionals as well. And the paraprofessionals are a big piece of allowing us to provide the small student-to-teacher ratios and providing that support to all of our students. So,
and would you say, is there room for expansion down there for the Joseph Sam School?
Yes. In fact, we have plans I mentioned we started out as the early years and then grew and expanded our programs and services and ages that we serve. So if you would come and visit the school, you would quickly see that we are busting at the seams and are quite creative and innovative with our space. And in fact, the school was built at a time when we were just serving middle school age, maxing out at that age. So the classrooms are smaller and we need more space. We have land to do so and are hoping to move forward on a building plan. We have put that on hold for some obvious reasons right now in terms of the financial landscape and just making sure we move forward at the right time. But yes, absolutely, that is a part of our strategic plan, if you will.
So looking ahead into 2023 and with the hopes of expansion, and obviously capital campaigns also run a little bit of money. Even if you have that land, you got to raise all this money. Do you do any fundraisers periodically throughout the year, or one big event that people can get behind and donate to the Joseph Sam School?
Absolutely. We, in fact, have a fundraising campaign, an annual campaign that includes 4 events throughout the year. Then each event has a different audience, target audience, if you will. Our largest event is the dinner dance auction, which is held in May every year. But if you look at all of our fundraising events, it includes about 35% of our annual revenues every year, which is pretty substantial. So we rely heavily on our fundraising, and then just the community. Fayetteville's a small community, but yet very tight knit, and we see that even as a school, they embrace our students, our families, and the support is pretty overwhelming.
So people can go, and can they make donations straight onto your website? And if so, what is that website?
Absolutely. Our website is www.josephsamschool.org, and in the right-hand corner of the main page, you'll see a donate button, and folks are encouraged to support and donate, and you can restrict for certain areas of our programmings whether it be scholarship, whether it be our specific equipment, our speech program, our move program, so many different ways to support.
And every dollar counts.
Absolutely.
Amy Murray, Executive Director with the Joseph Sam School. Stay with me because I'm going to ask you the hard questions coming up next.
Hi, I'm Lyric Waters. You're watching my mommy, Gina Cavalli, at Life with the Spectrum.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and with me today, Amy Murray, the Executive Director at the Joseph Sam School, which is down on the south end of town. And not too many schools down there cater to the neurodiverse and to kids with other disabilities and challenges. Amy, the hard questions now come, all right? What does it cost to go to the Joseph Sam School?
Well, the true cost that the school incurs to provide the staffing, the specialized programs, all of those that we've touched upon are not necessarily what the families pay because it's very individualized. I know that I've mentioned if you go to our website, you would not find our tuition on the website because what we want is the opportunity to speak directly with our families, prospective families, and let them know about our pretty extensive scholarship program and the funds that are available to help families access our programs. As I mentioned, we've been in existence for a very long time, and it's always been the board's goal to be ensure that the financial piece is not the obstacle that would prevent a family from accessing our services. So families have the opportunity to apply for need-based scholarship and a flexible scholarship account. And that's an important scholarship fund because what it allows the school and the scholarship committee to do is to look beyond just the numbers. And look beyond, because we recognize that what's on paper is not necessarily a true picture of what a family may be experiencing. So the flexible scholarship program allows our committee to look beyond that and look at any hardships or extenuating circumstances that our families are enduring. While we all know, whether firsthand or just, understanding that the expenses of raising a child with special needs are beyond what most families have raising their children. But there's also so many other extenuating circumstances and hardships that when those come at us, and we know that they're going to because life happens, being able to assure a family that their child's educational programming will not change, or they don't have to make decisions of can we afford the school or do we need to go to an option that we don't feel is adequate. So
a scholarship committee is like what you're using there to help families kind of navigate and see what's most affordable. And
that's right.
And if they're come hook or crook, you're going to try to make it happen
that's
for them.
Right.
That's wonderful.
That's right.
Now, for families who have their kids in public school right now but wish to move them over to the Joseph Sam School, do you take their SB 10 money?
We absolutely do. The SB 10 funding is are the monies that are applied against the full tuition first, and then that's when a family has the opportunity to apply for scholarship assistance at the school. And, Gina, to answer your first question, I think this is great information for families to know, is that the true cost of tuition for our families could be anywhere between $18,000 to $24,000 a year. But that's, like I said, daunting, and we certainly don't want a family who's doing research online or hear from someone else that the tuition is this amount, so not even to call.
I love that. I love the fact that you guys have a scholarship committee that will definitely look at each individual's circumstances differently. Amy Murray, Executive Director at the Joseph Sam School down in Fayetteville, Georgia. Amy, one more time, what's the website that they can go to, and are you on socials? If so, where can people find you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff?
Absolutely. So we are at www.josephsamschool.org. We are connected to social media and sharing all of the great happenings happenings at the school with new content. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you go to our website, it can connect you, and you can see all of the great stuff happening at the school.
Well, I cannot thank you enough, Amy, for taking the time to kind of discuss everything that's going on down there. The fact that there is definitely a need for expansion, and although it's maybe put off for a little bit, maybe hopes for the future if people can go on and donate.
Absolutely. No, we always are moving forward, right? Moving forward, looking at how folks can help and support, and even looking beyond the age of 22 in an adult day program. So.
Oh, well, that would be perfect down there on the south end of town, too. And they're needed north, south, east, and west, and in the heart of the city as well. Thank you again, Amy Murray, Executive Director at the Joseph Sam School down in Fayetteville, Georgia. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Gina. Appreciate it.
Isn't it refreshing to know that there's a school on the south end of town? Because normally I talk to schools on the north end of town. But the Joseph Sam School, they don't just serve Fayetteville. Peachtree City, Noonan, College Park, East Point, Jonesboro, Hampton. Everyone can come to Fayetteville, and their kids can get an education that they so desperately need and deserve at the Joseph Sam School. Make sure you check them out at josephsamschool.org. It is my goal and my personal mission in 2023 to introduce you to the very best organizations, foundations, schools, advocates, people just making a difference and being a force for good in the world of autism and other diagnoses as well. And thank you so much for liking and commenting and sharing, and most of all, subscribing to the show. Until next time, we live life with the spectrum. See ya.
Bye.